Is section what 4, and we're just going over some homework problems, and this is number 5 that we're going to do. All right, here's what they give you, and let's draw some stuff in different colors here. So this is what I want you to write. Everything that I'm writing right here, everything that I have down, okay, the given, the prove, the picture, the labeling, all that stuff, you need to have on your own paper. Okay, everybody understand that? So you have to have the picture, you have to have the word given, you have to, everything that I'm writing right here, you should have on your own paper. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the given, we're going to mark up our picture. Okay, that's the easiest part, that's the fun part, all right? So QR equals SR. So QR, line segment QR, has got one tick mark, and SR has one tick mark right there. Everybody with me so far? Yeah, easy. What else do they tell you? ST equals QT. Let's find ST. ST is this bottom one. So how many tick marks am I going to put on that one? Put 2, right, because ST equals QT, which is this one up and down. So what am I going to do there? Put 2 right there. You understand? So these two are equal to each other, and these two right here are equal to each other. And that's all they tell you, isn't it? And what do we want to do? We want to prove what? That the triangles are, I forgot the little squiggly thing, the triangles are congruent to each other. Okay, we want to prove that the triangles are congruent. Well, so far we only have 2 ways to prove triangles congruent. Whoops, that was a mistake. Slip of the pen. All right, there are 2 ways to prove triangles congruent. What was the first way that we learned in this lesson? What is it? Side, side, side. Right, that's the first way that we learned to prove triangles congruent, was side, side, side. We also learned a second way. What was our second way? Side, angle, side. Okay, so those are 2 ways. We have those 2 choices right here, but we need to figure out something else. Do I have all 3 sides of this triangle equaling all 3 sides of this triangle yet? No, I don't. I got 2 sides. Do I have an angle? Do I know that angle Q equals angle S from this picture? No. It might look like it, but just because it looks like it, does that mean it is? No, we can't go by that. We can't just say, well, it looks like it is. No, you can't do that. Okay, you have to be told somehow that angle Q equals angle S, and there's nothing in here to tell us that Q and S are equal to each other. Okay, so we can't do side, angle, side, can we? Because there's no way to show that. Can we do side, side, side? Yeah, because look, see RT? RT on this triangle is the same length as RT on what? That triangle. Everybody got that? So what do I do to show that it's equal to itself? Put 3 tick marks, okay? Everybody with me on that? So it's you could think of it as 2 different segments, but really it's the same thing, isn't it? What's the reason for that? Reflexive properties. Like looking in a mirror, reflection, right? You seeing the same thing. Reflexive kind of has the same word in it, doesn't it? All right, so that's what it is. It's like looking in the mirror. It's the same thing. So RT equals RT. That's all you have to do. Everything in yellow, except for this stuff right here. Everything in yellow, that's not us, is it? What do we get out? 11? Okay, we still got some time. So I've got one side, I've got a second side, and I have a third side. So why are these triangles congruent to each other? Because of side, side, side. Everything that I've done in yellow. It's simple, isn't it? It's very, very easy. Because CPCTC is like if I said, why is angle Q equal to angle S? Remember, it's corresponding parts of congruent triangles. You have to show the triangles congruent first before you can say all the other stuff is equal to each other. Okay? So don't use CPCTC. Listen very carefully. Listen very carefully. Because if he had that question, I know a lot of you are going to have that same question. Wait till I'm done. Okay? You are not going to use that CPCTC because when you want to prove triangles congruent to each other, you only have 2 possible ways so far. We're going to learn 2 more tomorrow, okay? You have 2 ways so far to prove that triangles are congruent. And what are they? Side, 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 and side, angle, side. That's my only choices to prove triangles congruent. What if, though, I said prove that angle Q is equal to angle S? Well, you got to show the triangles congruent first, right? And then what would the reason be for angle Q being equal to angle S? No, that would be CPCTC. Let's understand what this means. I don't think we have a grasp of this yet, so let's do this again. What does that stand for, CPCTC? Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Let's start with that corresponding. Is Q and S, are they corresponding to each other? If I took those two triangles and I slammed them on top of each other so they all match up, would Q and S be the angles that match up with each other? Yeah, how do you know that? Because Q is what? Opposite the 3 tick marks, right? And S is what? Opposite the 3 tick marks. Do Q and S go together? Are they corresponding? Yeah, they are. Okay, so what does this say? Corresponding parts, right? An angle is a part of a triangle. The corresponding parts of what? Of congruent triangles. So that means I have to show what first? I have to show that the triangles are congruent first before I can say that angle Q is equal to angle S. Remember earlier I said, is there any way to say that Q and S are equal? And I said there was not. But there is now, because we just did what first? We proved the what? What did we prove about the triangles? That they're congruent. If I prove the triangles congruent to each other, then I can say all the other stuff that matches up must be equal to each other as well. Does that make sense? So if I took this triangle, watch, if I took this and kind of folded it and put that S right here, then that would all match up, wouldn't it? Follow me? So look at this. What about this angle right here? Which angle is corresponding to this angle on this triangle? Well, what is it opposite? It's opposite the 2 tick marks. What's opposite the 2 tick marks here? This one up here. Do you see that? So those match up with each other, don't they? So I could say that angle, I can't just call it R. What do I have to call it? QRT, right. So angle QRT is equal, what would I call this one? SRT. And what would the reason be? If I ask you to prove that angle QRT is equal to angle SRT, what would you say? You've already proved the triangle's congruent, didn't you? So now I could say what? What's the reason? CPCTC. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Listen, this is very important. Okay, my honors kids got this messed up a lot too, some of them. You can only use CPCTC when you've already proven the triangle's congruent. You have to prove the triangle's congruent first. You hear what I said? It's very important. I'll say it again. You have to prove the triangle's congruent first before you can use this thing right here. You got it? And you don't use this as a reason why triangles are congruent. You only have 2 reasons so far why triangles can be congruent. That's side, 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 and side angle side. Once you prove the triangle's congruent, then you can say that those corresponding parts are equal to each other.
So you can write down all the x's in yellow?
Well, I was done. I just kind of went off on a little tangent there. Okay. So that right there is basically, I tell you what, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's write down what our triangles are. They already wrote it right here in the proof, but I'm going to write it here anyway. So triangle QRT is congruent to triangle SRT. And what's my reason? Side, side, side. Okay, so here's what I have. Now, on an actual proof, with all the now I skipped a little bit, okay, on our proof, but we call it a 2-column proof. I'm letting you do this a lot easier than what you're supposed to do, but you still get the basic idea though. All right. What I want to do is I write down the triangles are congruent. Why are they congruent? Side, side, side. And actually on this one right here, they didn't even ask me to say that Q and S were equal, did they? I just made that up on my own, right? I just said, hey, what if they did? What if they asked that Q and S were equal? Then you would do this. So for this actual proof right here, number 5, they don't even ask you for that. That's all they ask you is to prove that the triangles are congruent. So that's super easy, isn't it? So when they ask you just to prove that the triangles are congruent, that's a piece of cake. So really, this is all you have to write. You draw all the stuff, you mark your picture all up, make sure you put that 3 arc thing or that 3 tick thing, and then write this thing right here. You got it? Simple. Let's do another one. We're running out of time on this, so I'm not going to do another one. That's pretty close to what all the other ones are going to be, okay? There might be a couple other things I might need to show you, but what I'm going to have you do is finish this, okay? So you kind of have a little better idea of how to do these. So what I want you to do is I want you to finish this, okay, the 5, 6, whatever it is. What is it? 5, 6, 12 to 15, 24 to 25. Finish it, bring it in tomorrow. So we're just basically a day behind, okay? So just push everything back a day with your little lesson plan sheet I gave you.